Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew of the Lashon Kodash tongue. And I say Barak Adam to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, and I say Shalom. And this is a prophecy update as of December 24th, 2025, on this Wednesday noon. And this is from RT.com as of December 24th, 2025. And reads, Washington deploys more troops to Caribbean. So Wall Street Journal reports, right, as we've been seeing tensions be heating up between, the President Maduro of Venezuela and the President of the United States. Tensions heating up between both nations. So we're seeing the United States armies heating up against the Venezuela armies, as tensions been heating up for the past couple of months, from September and all the way into now. Down there in the Central and South America, especially over there in the Caribbean Sea and off the coast of Venezuela, especially with the latest oil tank sieging from the United States. Just like last week, the United States wanted to have all oil blockage from importing, exporting off the coast of Venezuela. And then so that shows that the tensions are already heating up. I believe the Venezuela administration of Maduro, I believe they signed a bill into law to have like some type of executive order, of the United States pushing this blockage of oilage block importing, exporting over that off the coast of Venezuela. As you had the President Maduro mentioned numerous of times that let's recall unconstitutionalized of privacy, over there in coast of Venezuela. So these tensions are really stirring up between Venezuela and the United States, between the two leader presidents from both countries, from the United States and from Venezuela. And this is a news article from December 24th, 2025, and it reads from World News of RT.com. Washington deployed more troops to Caribbean, Wall Street Journal reports. The U.S. has reportedly moved a large number of military aircraft and other equipment for a possible war against Venezuela. Right, because what was that? A couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump, he said he didn't rule out a war against Venezuela. He doesn't rule that out. I remember he mentioned it like twice in the last couple of months. It says the U.S. reportedly, because you had day before yesterday, and then Donald Trump was saying that he's targeting president of Venezuela. Of Colombia as well too. He was targeting the president of of Colombia as well too. So that shows the rumors of wars are heating up between these nations. The U.S. is reportedly expanding its military posture near Venezuela by deploying an additional forces. Especially what they recently been doing heavy military exercise drills over there in the Caribbean Sea, right along Venezuela, been doing the same thing, arming themselves to protect their sovereignty in that country. It says the U.S. is reportedly expanding its military posture near Venezuela by deploying an additional forces by the Caribbean, amid rising tensions between Washington and Caracas, if I pronounced that right. The Wall Street Journal has reported. It says the movements include special operations, aircraft, and military transport planes. The newspaper reported on Tuesday, citing that U.S. officials open source flight tracking data, according to the report, and deployments are intended to provide Washington with the additional options for potential action against Venezuela. Although no specific operation has been announced publicly, the outlet reports that at least 10 CV-22 Osprey Roto aircraft linked to the U.S. Special Operations units to flown in the Caribbeans from bases in the continent of U.S. and several C-17 cargo aircraft also reported transport troops and equipped to Puerto Rico on Monday. According to the U.S. citing by paper, it says U.S. Southern Command has declined to comment on the reported troop movements, citing operational security concerns. The White House and the Department of War has not responded publicly to questions about the deployment. The report buildup comes with the U.S. president has intensified pressure on Venezuela government, ordering a blockage of oil tankers entering or leaving the country. Trump has accused the Carpets of stealing U.S. energy assets and infrastructures, has warned that Venezuela will face the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America unless those assets are returned. He has refused to rule out air or land strikes. Over the past week, U.S. has seized two Venezuelan oil tankers in international waters, claiming that vessels are operating in violation of Washington sanctions. Authorities in the Caracas has denounced the siege and privacy and has accused Trump of pursuing regime change in order to gain control of the country's oil reserve. Washington actions has drawn international condemnation, with Russia criticizing the tanker siege and the United States naval blockage of Venezuela, warning as a catastrophic consequences for regional stability and maritime security. China has also urged restraint. This is Matthews 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Right, so this is what you call ongoing back and forth wars and rumors of wars between the United States armies versus Venezuelan armies. And the leader of the United States, President Trump, and the leader of Venezuela's, Nicolas Maduro, let's say. So tensions are really heating up down there in Central and South America between the nations, especially over there in the Caribbean Sea. Tensions are heating up between, Colombia versus the United States, Venezuela versus the United States, and then the alliance of Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela going against the tensions of the likes of the United States Army. So these are wars, rumors of wars heating up between these nations on a daily basis. So expect to see more ongoing tensions heating up down there in Central and South America. It says you should hear of wars, rumors of wars, right? Russia versus Ukraine, because you had two police officers was killed in a car bombing over there, Moscow. Oh, it's on now. Oh, my bad. Yeah, it's on there.
Oh man, I told you.
Yep.
Finally go.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm getting all of mine. Fuck y'all.
Yep.
Put it in your pocket.
Yep.
Pay the rent and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yo, 737, 994. Yep, it's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Where you got that from?
I found this.
Why you found the way?
I'm not there.
No, you didn't, buddy.
Give me some money.
Mine ain't got no weed. Yeah,
Hell, you gonna give me some weed.
Man, fuck that weed. Move, baby.
You ain't using my bus card. That's $15. That is that. That is that. How you doing?
He was like, "Oh, you gonna be out the way? Wait, give me that bus card."
That's raw, though.
So, all the way out the way.
And this is the book of Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right. So as I mentioned again, with those recent two car bombings over there in Moscow, those two police officers was unalive in that car bombing incident. And then after that, Russian general was unalive with that car bombing as well, too, within the last week and a half. So tensions are really heating up between Russia-Ukraine situation. And then tensions heating up in the area in the Caribbean Sea between the Venezuelan armies versus United States armies. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which goes to ethnos, because you can have a nation rise against another nation, and then a kingdom within itself rise up against one another, and then outside of another kingdom rise against another kingdom. That's what we're seeing. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, just like that 6.1 earthquake over there in Taiwan, the southern part of Taiwan. And then you had a 5.7 earthquake over there in Guam, and the aftershock of it at 5.0. So that's a sign that we're going to see earthquakes in diverse places, the famines and pestilence, and nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and wars and rumors of wars that Yahushua spoke about. And this is Luke 21, especially with those rising protests over there in Bangladesh, and then uproars of people in the world, here in America and around the world, that we're seeing on a daily basis. Luke 21, verse 25, because Yahushua showed us these signs before he makes a return. It says there, right, because it says the return of Hamashiach Yahushua. Luke 21 and verse 25, it says, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth, discretion of nations will perplex sea rich warren. Right, so the Heavenly Father's only got Son, Yahushua, showing us these signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. And upon the earth, discretion of nations will perplex sea rich warren due to the uncertainty among the nations, because we're seeing the famines and pestilent plagues right along with it, and the uncertainty among the nations. So it's going to be a lot of perplexity in the siege rage warring between the nations on a daily basis. And this is the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, and verse 23. It says, and he called them unto them, and saying that parable, how can Satan cast out Satan? Right, so how can Satan cast out Satan? St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Right, so if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand, that's what we're seeing. St. Mark 3, verse 25, and if a house be divided, except the house not stand. Right, so if a house be divided, except the house not stand. Verse 26, and if Satan rise against himself, be divided, cannot stand but have an end. Right, so if Satan rise against himself, be divided, cannot stand but have an end. Just like Yahushua said in the parable. Matthew 12, that's verse 25. This is of the Gospel of Matthew 12, verse 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts were hearts or mind. And he said unto them, every kingdom divided itself is brought to desolation. Right, so every kingdom be divided itself is brought to desolation. And city or house divided itself shall not stand. Right, so if or city or house or kingdom or nation be divided itself shall not stand. That's what we're seeing. Verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, be divided itself, how should his kingdom stand? Right, so if Satan cast out Satan, be divided itself, which cannot stand. That's what we're seeing. So this was just a quick prophecy updates as of December 24th, 2025 on this Wednesday noon. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem, Akakadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, B'Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, Lashon Kodash Sultan. And I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'ak and Wa'ak Waf. Until next time, I will say Shalom.